baby, listen to the speaker. No matter what, just say the word. I'm loving all I see.
Pop, Perswayable. What's going on, everybody? So, before I start this video, I want you all to know that this is, this is the first time that I've been doing this. I'm going to start doing my gaming reviews, and, there's a lot of things that I want to change to make them better. Lots of things that I would change to make them better. For instance, like those little black screens on the side, totally annoying. And I also would like to make this sort of a podcast in the future. And, when I started my YouTube, I didn't really try to make things perfect, I just kind of did it. I kind of started coming out with videos, and then slowly I got better at the quality and the stuff that I did. And I realized that I haven't come out with any video in the last 3 weeks. I have a whole bunch of videos that are almost done. And because I've been so like, I need to make them perfect. I was like, I'm not getting them done. My YouTube's not expanding. I'm not doing anything. So just bear with me. We're going to start coming out with these review series. And in the first episode of my podcast where you cannot see my face, I want to review Call of Duty Mobile. Now, there's people out there that are criticizing Call of Duty Mobile for a lot of reasons. I think some of them are valid. I think some of them are not. I actually think that how Call of Duty Mobile is doing it is how what a lot of the other app developers need to start taking notes. They need to start taking notes on this game. Because this is, in my opinion, hopefully the future of where mobile gaming goes to. So let's first talk about mobile gaming in general. And I'll come out with some episodes in a future podcast. But the thing is that mobile gaming, okay, you always have people who kind of say mobile gamers are a joke, right? They're not on the computers, they're not on the consoles, right? When computers came out, arcade people were kind of making fun of them, right? And by computers coming out, I mean in terms of the actual video games and the history of it. First of all, consoles, you had your Atari, you had things like that. But essentially, you had this morph into real video gamers play PC. That's it. If you're not a PC gamer, you're not a real gamer. Well, before that, it used to be the arcade. Right? It used to be the arcade. There used to be people who were trying to set records on the old consoles. And then it morphed into this PC version. And then from the PC version, people who were playing Xbox and PlayStation, PC version, would kind of make fun of them and say, they're not real video gamers. It's the PC era, right? And maybe it's still in that phase in terms of where the top competition in a lot of these games sort of play. But we can generally agree that a lot of people do play competitively on console, just not as much as PC. Well, now you have the mobile gaming market. Now, what the problem with the mobile gaming market, all right, is the ridiculous pay-to-play features. And let me tell you something. I hope that my YouTube, and you guys know me, will cause some controversy. Because I'm going to call all of these garbage developers out. I'm tired of it. I am tired of seeing these games that are coming out for free, but then they're pretty much capsulated by this idea that you need to pay. You need to pay in order to get ahead. And if you don't pay, well, guess what? You can still compete. But you're going to be at a significant disadvantage for months. For months, you are going to be going against people who have better equipment than you because they paid for it. And because they paid for it, okay, you can get to their level, but it's going to take a long time. Who wants to get their ass kicked in a game for months and months just to hope that one day maybe they'll be on the same even field? Enter Call of Duty Mobile. Call of Duty Mobile, first of all, we'll talk about the basic stuff, right? The graphics I love. I have this on a high setting, as you guys can see. Really great graphics. I really like the gameplay. Very fast paced. Some people have their complaints about Call of Duty Mobile, right? And I think some of those complaints are valid. Some people didn't like the fact that the enemies had lights on them, so you could see them across the map. So it was really hard to actually hide and snipe. If people complain about the quick scope and things. The light thing is kind of relatively new. But in terms of the overall playability of the game, what I like about it is that when I go against Jokestar, who used to be the number 2 player in Call of Duty, I have faced him before. I know one thing to be true. He has the same weapons that I have. And if he kills me, well, it's either because he's better or he's got a better team. It's probably both, right? That's just the reality of it. Whereas in other games such as Guns of Boom, which should really be called Guns of Garbage, they recently renamed their game to Gods of Boom. I'm going to make a whole different video on that. They rechanged their name Gods of Boom so it wouldn't be as offensive. They don't want to be seen as just a gun game. They renamed Headshot into something else. They're changing the language thinking that's going to do anything when the research is very clear that video games do not result into increased aggressive behavior more than any other sort of external stimuli such as football would, right? So back on the Call of Duty, what I really like about Call of Duty is first of all, they have all these different modes, and you guys all know that. So then you're asking, well, what is your analysis? Perswayable. What makes your analysis different from a lot of these other people out there who come out and analyze the game, and they nitpick at it? And in the future, I'm hoping that I can be a little bit more organized with my arguments and the things that I like and the things that I don't like. One of the things I didn't like in Battle Royale mode is that it used to be filled with bots. I'm not sure if you guys have played in Season 2, but there's still bots in the game, but it's mostly been removed. There's still bots in PUBG Mobile. There's still bots in Rules of Survival and all those games, but the bots now in this game is significantly reduced. So you actually, you're more likely to die this season than what you were in the previous season. The developers listened, all right? But what I like about Battle Royale and zombies and all these different modes, all right, is not only the high action-packed intensity, but the idea that if I want to pay for something, okay, most of it is cosmetics. Right? There's the same thing with Fortnite for the most part as well. And you also have your battle passes and things like that. But for a free game, those things are okay. What I like about Call of Duty Mobile, really, really like about Call of Duty Mobile, is not only all the modes in the Battle Royale that I just said, but really let's focus on the pay-to-win feature. It's not there. You can level up, and the leveling is reasonable. All right? So we know that you unlock weapons at different times as you level up, but it's the same thing with a lot of the other Call of Duties, right? When you used to get to level 50 or 60, okay? And this is where a lot of developers need to start going. This is where I'm so sick of games. This is kind of a rant in general about video games. I'm not even sure if this is a review. But in general, the pay-to-play feature that we're seeing with the mobile gaming market is another reason why people don't take the mobile gaming market seriously in terms of esports. Although esports is rapidly increasing and you have a lot of developers who are starting to invest in esports, the developers that really make it a pay-to-play game is what hurts this market. It helps them currently because the current design, this has been normalized. This has been accepted. Oh, you want to play Clash of Clans? Well, you could play against other people, but by the way, if you spend a whole shitload of money, you're going to have a significant advantage. That's not fair. That's not enjoyable. And these companies have been getting away with it for a very long time now. And then one of the arguments that you'll hear from developers, literally Guns of Boom developers, I think at one point said, well, how are we supposed to make money? It's like, well, you could do what Call of Duty is doing right now. You can shit on this game. You can not like this game. You can tell me the things that you don't enjoy about the game. I bet you many of you have very valid reasons. But what I really like about Call of Duty Mobile is the fact that when I go into a rank mode, I know that you as a player have the same weapons as me for the most part. And I know that on a reasonable level, I'll be able to level up. You have some games that it'll take you 6 months to a year if you want to actually put yourself through that agony. Now, another concern that I have is that the rampant hacking, which is a big issue. The rampant hacking is a big, big issue. And I've done some experiments on this in terms of what you can and cannot hack with the game and stuff. The problem with Call of Duty Mobile is that if you hack, they kick you out for 24 hours and then welcome you back. It's like an incentive. Hey, keep hacking until you can get away with it. I really think that they need to institute a permanent ban on the first offense. Make these people pay the consequence for their rampant hacking. But the problem is that many games have been currently hacked. There's big hacking communities that you can easily search and find and easily get these hacks, and they're all over the place on many different games. Many different games. Okay? So I'm going to take a little bit away from Call of Duty Mobile for that. But As I'm talking about this, I think I'll have to come out with a separate Call of Duty Mobile review. I think this is just something that we need to really start focusing on. Just because something is normal does not mean that it's appropriate. And what I mean by that is that within the market that we have, where everything is pay to win, everything is pay to play, mostly pay to win, not pay to play, okay? We need to stop normalizing the behavior. Start looking at games like this where, hey, you know what? Yeah, if you want to pay, you can get a little bit of a head start, but it's really not that significant. You can easily play your way up to get the equipment like everybody else. I mean, there are some nasty pay-to-win games out there where people, I feel bad. I feel bad because people waste so much time, guys. They start playing, they think they're winning, they're really facing bots, then they start facing beginners just like them. But then once you get beyond that, oh, this guy spent $10 that you didn't spend, and if you want to compete with him, that's $10. You spend the $10, and then you have to compete against the guy who spent $50, and then the $50 racket has to go against the people who spent $100, and it continues to manifest itself. And then after 2 or 3 weeks, or even a month of you playing this game you really like, you're like, Jesus, I just wasted my time. I just wasted my time. I wish somebody would have just told me, hey, by the way, this game is garbage. If you want to play it, you got to pay it. All right, there's so many other things you could be investing your money in. Okay, prostitutes, things. I'm kidding. Don't do that. That's not funny. And so I think one of the things that people are overstepping is that I actually think that Call of Duty Mobile has found a good way to balance it. I think they found a good way to balance it where if you want to spend a little bit of money to get ahead, okay, you'll save yourself a couple of weeks in terms of getting that weapon that you like, but it's not out of the realm of impossibility for somebody else to get it within a reasonable time. That's the important part, within a reasonable time. And most of their stuff is with cosmetics. We've seen this with Identity 5. You can get the free characters. You can invest very little money and still get those characters in-game. But really, other than the little money that you spend, there's really not that big of an advantage. A lot of it's cosmetics and things like that. We need to stop normalizing this pay-to-play sort of games. And I'm going to war with these people. I don't care. I'm fired up. Because this is, if we want the mobile market to be taken seriously, this is what Call of Duty Mobile has done right. I think they did the perfect balance between what's tasteful spending, what's manageable, versus some of these pay-to-play games that are literally impossible to be the best at unless you fork over thousands of dollars. In the media area, we call this whales. We call this whales. And these are people who will spend $5,000, $10,000 like it's nothing. These are rich people. These people live basic lives. They have good income, and they don't really spend their money on much on anything. So, hey, it's their money. They want to spend it in a video game. That's perfectly reasonable. I'm fine with that. But not when you try to make a competitive league or a sports league. Like Guns of Boom came out with an esports league. It's a disaster. No, I think they this is a game that used to be the number one game in the world, one of them, and they had like maybe 500 active viewers in the world because people are leaving the game. I'll do a whole separate video on this, but I really wanted to make a video on what I feel like Call of Duty Mobile has done correctly. Also, I can see that the video is kind of slowed down a little bit. So I'll take a look at that and see what we can do with it to see. I'm not sure if that's a preview or... Yeah, this is my first video doing this sort of stuff. And I really just wanted to get right into it. I'll find a way to make this better, to make it more perfect, and to make it manageable for everybody and enjoyable. I can see that the video game footage is kind of slowed down. I don't know why. We'll be able to figure out why. But I want to come out with this video. I want to post it just to say that I did it and start the series. I actually have footage on about 4 or 5 different video games that I want to do reviews on. But this isn't really a review. This is more, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. This is more of my introduction. My introduction to telling you exactly what I am against. I am against the pay-to-play games. And everybody says, well, the game is free. What do you expect? Yeah. That's fine. There are plenty of free games out there. And if a business wants to do that, where they want to make a game that really you have no chance of being in the top of the tiers unless you spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, that's fine. That's okay. That's their business model. They're allowed to do that. They're also allowed to have the gamers also invest their money in it. But, you know what I'm allowed to do, boo-boo? I'm allowed to come out with a review saying that I don't agree with this, This is garbage. And for the people who are like me, I'd really, really like to save their time. Save them time and not have them waste their time. And that's really important to me. You have people, guys, do you know how frustrating it is to be able to play? Have you guys ever done that? Tell me in the comments. Have you ever played a game where after like 3 weeks to a month, you're like, oh, wow. I'm starting to climb up to the top like 50, 25%, and now I'm starting to see this big gap. And it's not necessarily because these people have been playing longer than me. It's because they've invested a ridiculous amount of money. And I think it hurts the mobile gaming market. I do not think that it helps us out. Thankfully, there's a few game types that really enable this sort of, if you want to pay, you can do so to get the characters a little bit quicker. Or if you want to pay, you can get some fancy cosmetics and look cool in game. But like if you play Mobile Legends for the most part, yeah, you might have to spend a little bit of money, but nothing that's super unreasonable, right? To unlock a character. It's always been like that. Or you can unlock them. League of Legends has been doing that for a long time. But you have some first-person shooter games like Call of Duty that I feel is very reasonable. And I think that we need to start really looking at the developers who are doing this. You can disagree with a developer with how they made the game, but still agree with the business model. And that's what I'm doing here. I am agreeing with the business model. I really like what they did here with this game because it's manageable. And you guys know what I'm looking for in the future in terms of these mobile games. I'm also going to do reviews on games that cost money. And I'm going to tell you guys, hey, this is worth investing in, or it's not worth investing in, or hey, there are pay-to-play features, but you don't really need to use them, or hey, by the way, you play this game, it's impossible to reach the top. And that's what this is going to be about. What I like about Call of Duty Mobile, since we are watching this video footage, hopefully it doesn't play this slow on YouTube. Right now, for those, I'm not sure after I render it, but right now the game's going super slow, and I don't know why. So I got to kind of figure that out. What I like about Call of Duty Mobile, I said some of this before, but I like the fact that when you compete with other people, it's because you're competing on the same level in regards to at least the weaponry that you have. You still have to worry about people playing the game on PC. You got to worry about people playing the game on controller. I think both of those things are kind of garbage. That's my opinion. If you're going to play a mobile game, you should be forced to use your fingers just like everybody else to even the playing field. But maybe that's unreasonable. I know a lot of people get mad at me when I say that. But I've been consistent on that. I mean, if you're going to play a mobile game with a damn controller, you might as well just buy a console and play on the console. But I don't know, maybe it's an adaptation that I should get used to. You know, maybe it might be one of those things where if you really want to compete, yeah, it's a necessary investment. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. What I like about the Battle Royale mode is you have the different classes that have different sorts of things that you can do. What I don't like about the game in general is really... the matchmaking system is awful, in my opinion. When you get to the higher tiers, you can be like a Master 1. Remember, it goes Master 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Legendary. So I could be a Master 1 in a random lobby going against the number 2 player in the world with the number 6, number 8, and number 9 player in the world. It's like, how the hell are you supposed to compete against that? So, and what I don't understand is that the Legendaries don't go against the Legendaries. You know, I could understand if there wasn't a big player base, right? Then, yeah, sure, expand that so people can go against each other and form teams, et cetera, et cetera. But unfortunately, as of now, or at least that's how it was in Season 1. I don't know if they changed that in Season 2. Because remember, Battle Royale changed in Season 2. You now don't actually go against all bots, which is a really convenient thing, okay? But in terms of the matchmaking, I don't like it. The fact that I'm going against the number 2 guy when I'm not even, probably top 1,000 at that point was kind of ridiculous. So at the end of the day, I like Call of Duty Mobile. I really do. I like it more than I thought I would. I think it's better than a lot of other first-person